always forget to prop my iPad up, you know, so they can see me, see my. Oh, and Foxy's in here. Boom.
Oh, hey.
Hey, I know you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Beat Baux. This is our weekly show discussing new music, mental health, tips for content creators, and more. My name is Dylan. Some of you call me Palm. Some of you call me Thickness Pro, and I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Foxy Box, the one and only.
the one and only. Okay. Well, we missed Monday. Your boy had to work. Got to work. Got to pay them bills. And as the WGA writer strike rages on, I'm just kind of like, wow, I'm like lucky to have a fucking shift. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's see how Tuesday night beatbox feels. But
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Tuesday goes, but we'll be back to normal next week on Monday. Unless Dylan just keeps getting all these wonderful opportunities.
who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a balance of both.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
Well.
So we
Okay.
want to start with our mental health check-in?
Right.
Let's
So
do it.
just do it. Let me just put some love in my body, as Sinful to P would say. God rest his soul. So, to kick off the mental health check-in, last week was an interesting one for a couple of different reasons. I had this moment where I've kind of found myself like more and more involved in these friendships with some of the podcast guests. And, some of those have cracked off into beautiful relationships and other lanes of business like this one. And yeah, but as far as me, when I personally hang out with people, all has been well. It's all gravy in the Navy, as I say. But there was a instance last week where a performer named Kendra Lee Ryan, got on her socials, and she was in XBiz at the XBiz Awards in Miami, and she basically went live and said that she was in dire distress, and then said that she was gonna delete herself.
Unalive,
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
kids say.
She was going to delete herself, as YouTube overly sensitive algorithms suggest. But I was concerned. But this person also has a very, very shady reputation and very murky reputation amongst performers. So what I did was that, regardless of her reputation, I was still concerned. And this is somebody who I had gone back and forth with about, getting her down with the thickness to be a potential guest. And yes, there were plans to have her on the podcast, but I reached out to her, and I also tweeted a screenshot of her crying, saying pray, and then with the description, I don't know if
I,
that's the right word. Yeah,
I
with the
saw
words,
it.
yeah, pray for Kendra Lee Ryan.
Yeah.
Immediately, some account hits me up and says, nope. And I didn't even recognize the account, and it appeared that they either immediately deleted that reply or they blocked me. So I'm saying, like, who is this, right? And then another friend of mine who is also down with the thickness reached back out to me and um, said, "Oh, I think it was this account." She showed a page that had 250,000 followers, and she said this is a big OnlyFans influencer. And offline, I had a conversation where I didn't respond as because this is my friend talking here, even though this is somebody in the business, but
Mhm.
a friend who I had just hung out with the weekend before that. And I was just like, I, I said some things that I probably shouldn't have said and wasn't as professional as I should have been. But I think then she said, well, you know what, you sound too aggressive, and I feel like you're coming for me, and you just need to have a good night. And I'm saying, I'm not coming for you. I would never come for you. I don't shoot the messenger. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
And was this
I
through
get
like messages
Yes,
too?
this was through messaging.
It's so hard how much we misinterpret messages sometimes.
Right.
I know we've talked about it like last week about just our interpretation, perception of things is not always as it seems.
Yes, exactly. Now, with this particular with this particular friend, I was not trying to be mean to her. It's just like I was a little frustrated because of a number of things. With another one of my posts, I was being told that, I had somebody's personal information in there and I needed to be careful about repeating that on the air and then having that on social media. And, not, I don't think I was getting lectured, but it was kind of in that direction.
Right.
Then on top of that, I'm getting told that my way of responding to information was wrong. So, now I'm feeling like, okay, people are starting to tell me what to do.
Right.
So the next morning, I am, I in response to that clip that had the person's personal information, another performer who's been on my show is like, "Well, f that bitch who you had on the show." And at this point, I'm like, "All right, I'm done with the drama. I'm done hearing y'all telling me what to do and how to do it. I got up there on my story and said, listen, I don't care if you see your enemy on thickness protection program. I'm interviewing everybody. And if you got a problem, pull up and say something.
Right.
Right.
It's a
And I
level
said,
playing ground.
right. And my infamous line now is that I'm not a student at Porn Star High School. So if
Well,
you
and
are, yeah,
sex work as a whole, porn stars or content
right.
creation, all of it, music, it's so fucking competitive and people, it's your whole life. And so it does become very high school. I find myself even kind of like intermingling and like little dramas here and there. And I'm like, whoa, hold back. This is your fucking profession. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, it's hard to keep yourself in check, and I really like love the fact that you come from a place of like wanting to learn from these people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a place of wanting to learn, but I responded unprofessionally, and in result of that, the person who had objection to the other person on my show unfollowed me. Now you win some,
Mhm.
you lose some,
Right.
and this is somebody who I had the pleasure of not only interviewing but connecting face to face with out there in Chicago. So I was disappointed behind that because I really do think this person's dope. But
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is that I had a conversation with Monique Leslie offline about this, and this is why she's awesome because she really broke it down to me. It was like your position in this is different because you are before you're a podcaster or before you're a comedian or an interviewer, you are a man, and when you are dealing with sex workers whose clientele is men, you're dealing with flaking, cancellations, people who are men who are wasting time all day long.
Mhm.
So if you say one thing that is uh, anything but flattatory, is that a word? Anything but fl- flattering
Flattering.
or gracious. If you say anything that is not that to a sex worker, you don't know what type of day she's had, right? So she's
I
done
will.
hearing it. So she's done hearing it from guys.
Yup.
Period. It doesn't matter
Yup.
if you're cool or you're a podcaster.
Oh,
She's done hearing it from dudes.
I've torn the fuck into
Yeah,
people.
and that's when I have to be cautious of my place in this because I have been knighted a very high power position. Sometimes I
Right.
don't realize how high power it is that I sit at in this. Um, so yeah, it's disappointing to get the unfollow, but one monkey don't stop the show,
Right.
obviously. But I think what I learned from that is just like what there's a different me being the combination of the podcaster and the comedian. See, some podcasters they don't have to be likable. With me, I'm a comedian. I have to be likable at all times, unfortunately. And even going back to like having somebody on my show who's controversial, it's like I may not necessarily do that because if they have a negative rep amongst the protectors, amongst people who have appeared on the podcast and who are going to be the most vocal about the guests, that's not a good look for me because either way, even if they just see me doing a fair interview, it's still the brain still will associate, you know,
Yes.
the yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
the
is
brain
this
will still
person
consider
safe?
the opposition
Right.
that's his associate.
Right. Yeah, and also a big factor in that is like I just said, you're a safe person in the
Yes.
community. You're somebody that's giving not only sex workers but plus size sex workers a
Right.
platform, which is fucking huge. We're really shit on in the industry, and in a lot of ways we don't have the same experience as straight sized models. So it's
Yeah.
just it's nice to have that platform, and so you're by default a safe person, and so for it's hard though because a lot of times you look at like podcasts or shows and stuff and they have a guest and they're like highly controversial and they paid like a lot of money to have that controversy on their show, so it's like a fine line that you have to make sure that you stay safe in the community that you're in all aspects. So I think that you handled it at the best because you have to be able to grow to like really flourish in whatever you do and you show growth. So,
Right. And I think, you know what, it turned into a teachable moment for me just to like say, one thing that Monique mentioned is like, this is your business. So you
right,
have to remain professional at all
right,
times in how you represent yourself. And like the proper way to respond would be like, hey, I know not all of you get along. I know there are instances where, hey Lacey, I know there are instances where you may disagree with one another and business is business and you fall out. But my platform serves to, tell all of your stories and, be a safe place for all, no matter what, whom has personal discrepancies against whom. I didn't do
right,
that. I was, I took the I've been annoyed route, so I have to, I gotta play the bad guy now, and that's the result of that. So teachable moment.
right.
I hope the chick who I fell out with forgives me. She probably won't, but it's all good as we proceed to give them what they need.
Well, I've got my full handful of haters
Right.
in ways too. So,
Oh,
fuck
and
it.
it's not necessarily a hater thing. The commonality between the content creators on this side and the content creators on the palm side, the music side, is that people love you when you are saying nice things about them and flattering them and speaking highly of them. Anything other than that, it's fuck you.
Right.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's a hard truth to be learned. And just to kind of touch on my kind of mental health stuff I've been dealing with this week, and I feel like this is, something that's probably relatable to a lot of people. I struggle with ADHD. I can't barely function without writing lists, keeping calendars. I know I've talked about it a little bit. So I tried to take my medication, which is Adderall, and as like a addict. I've been almost 4 years clean and sober, and it's been really like it's a fine line. And I know that this is a medication that I'm supposed to like find a lot of happiness in life with. I'm supposed to be able to do things and, not suffer from that ADHD paralysis. Like I will sit there and I have this list of everything I need to get done and I don't get anything done because I'm stuck in my head. It's really hard. So I tried to take my meds. It was not fun. I took them yesterday. I slept last night. I feel like shit. I feel like I did not even sleep. So about half here, guys. And I don't think that Adderall's for me. I gotta figure this out though. So anybody that has tips for ADHD, reach out and talk to me
yeah.
because I'm having that slump with being a content creator, being, productive with my time. It's really a strain. So that's all I
Uh,
really wanted to talk
I've never
about.
taken Adderall before either, but as someone who I don't, I don't, I'm as I've learned more about what is being neurodivergent, I've questioned if I identify with that, and the answer is, as of right now, is that I'm not sure. I feel competent and cognizant, but just as far as like me getting tasks done on a day to day level, I'm pretty good if I set myself to it. It just comes down to clutter and organization, and with that, it's like, yeah, I could stand to improve, but I've never been like diagnosed with like some teachers thought I had ADD, and I was tested for all that shit in elementary school,
Mhm.
but I don't know if it's like I identify with the people who have it, but I don't identify as having it myself
Right.
yet.
Because you
But
haven't gone down that path with, like, finding a doctor to work with on it and things like
no,
that. I didn't do that
no,
till
no.
I was in college, I was 24 when I actually was, like, diagnosed, and it made a lot of sense, but I've always just had the struggles with the medication. As a stimulant, it shuts my head off, and for me, I'm always going a million miles an hour, and so it's a nice break, but, I like it too much,
Are
so
there
I
any ways you
just
naturally medicate, like going for a walk in the morning?
pot.
Yeah, that's not that well. Yeah, I'm 420 obviously, but like, are there anything you naturally medicate just with like exercise or teas or like,
Content making, things like
yeah,
that. I need to do more. I've been thrown because I had the hysterectomy, and just healed from it fully. And so I don't know what to do at this point. So I'm just like stagnant. But I think talking about it's the first place that you have to start with, like, really like doing, right?
yeah,
So
good. Yeah, I always find that vocalizing these things are really like a help. As again, there's a lot of another thing Monique and I discussed was like there are a lot of people with mental illness who are content creators. Is your dog okay?
someone's at my door.
Okay. We
This is how scary movies start. Hey,
yeah, we can yeah, you can go ahead and answer it. I'll just stay
I'm
here and
so
keep
sorry, you guys. This
the
is a
vibe
live
going.
podcast. Live
Yeah,
podcast,
live
real life.
podcast. Okay.
Hey.
So we're gonna keep on going. While Foxy Box answers her door. So you guys in the comments though. Oh, Emma. Oh, she's back.
Guess what
That's
it
good.
is. I bet you can't guess what
What
it
is it?
is.
Adderall? No, I don't know.
It's a toy from my toy selling friends on
Hey
Twitter.
now, say now. Oh, nice. Yeah, Coco the Goat was
So
telling me we need to make thickness protection program toys.
you said unboxing. I don't know if we can.
That would be great solo content for you
Yeah,
because I
I
don't
don't
want to get
think.
the live shut down.
I actually have a bunch of stuff that I haven't even opened, and I've been slowly making content. So I've thought about
Yeah,
having a little thing. So shall we
everybody
get
go
into
subscribe
the
to Foxy Box's spicy stuff.
subscribe to me? You'll be happy you did. Okay, so let's get on track with our subjects today. We're going to start with news.
All
Um,
right. So news. I don't know. I get so thirsty and talk. Okay, so thirsty while talking. Now, for the news, let's talk about Rick Ross and DJ Envy. Well, there's a little bit of friction going down between Ricky Rose and DJ Envy, host of the Breakfast Club. Now, got to shout out the fact that DJ Envy is also a Hampton alum, the same HBCU I graduated from. So we got to throw that out there. But they got into a scuffle going back and forth because they both have car clubs and wanted to host events, and there were some words thrown back and forth between Rick Ross and DJ Envy. And one thing that DJ Envy, of course, went for is the fact that uh, prior to Rick Ross's rap career taking off, he worked a little bit as a correctional officer in Miami in the 90s. So, brief time period, decades ago, but it still happened. Now, this dig isn't new. 50 Cent, came out with a diss track at Rick Ross many years ago, like 15 years ago. I was in high school, called Officer Ricky. Um, but here they are again going at it for this, and then I guess evidently uh, Rick Ross got on his story and responded to DJ Envy, showing off his lavish home and saying like, "Oh, basically DJ envious. You're not living like this." And then he made a crack at DJ Envy's girlfriend, saying, "Oh, why don't you come clean my pickleball paddle?" Showing this because pickleball's trending. I don't know why the
is it
sports all of
really?
a sudden is mad popular. Yeah,
I had no idea. I always
it's
enjoyed playing pickleball, like
yeah,
at
I've
school,
never
like
done
in
it. I have a homegirl who's really into it.
Oh yeah, I had no
Yeah,
idea that was a thing. That's
but
amazing.
yeah. So um, DJ Envy, well, Rick Ross is like, yeah, why don't you come be my pickleball, clean my pickleball
Polisher.
paddle? So it just they're taking shots back and forth at one another. Then Fat Joe gets in the mix and says, "Hey, I don't like them feuding. These are both beautiful people, and he wants to come through and be the peace." And that's kind of
Yeah.
like how I wanted to be in the previous story, like be the peacemaker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like how Fat Joe just like he just tunes in. He's like, Hey, man, they're both beautiful. Like, how random, and it's just like Fat Joe.
That seems like the type of thing DJ Khaled would do.
Right, no, totally, totally that kind of vibe, that's so funny. So yeah, the news this week as I was researching, it was a little dead this week, which I think maybe is a good thing that there wasn't too much news, nothing important,
No
super.
news is good news.
Yeah,
There's
I
a bit of
like
news
it.
though.
I like it. So and then also there was a cute little feel good story that I found that Janet Jackson is on tour right now, and so Ludacris has been like touring with her, but he was getting like his Hollywood star on like the Walk of Fame,
Hmm.
and so he wasn't. What's it called? Is it called the Walk of Fame?
Yep, Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay. So he was getting his Walk of Fame star, and so little Kim, she was doing the concert with her instead. And so Lil Kim was like basically fangirling out because apparently Janet Jackson is like a huge, like her biggest influence. And so it was really adorable. She was saying like, when I was little, like Michael was everything to me. Like I loved Michael Jackson. And then I found out about Janet. And I was like, there's a girl Michael. Like, and so she was just fangirling out, and she was saying, this is the first time that she really felt like she was represented with like what she wanted to do with her career was through Janet Jackson. And so it's like a real like lovely girl power moment. And it was a feel good. So I just want to talk about how cute it was because I love them
Well, I
both.
think it's beautiful because I don't think, previously, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Lil Kim had a song with Janet or had
Mm-mm.
they ever been on the road together. You've never really seen the two of them together.
Well, how
But
long has it been since Lil Kim has like made music?
God, yeah, I think Magic Stick was like the last
Put your
song.
lighters up.
Put your
That
lighters
was
up,
like,
right?
"Put
Yeah.
your lighters up."
That
Yeah,
was oh
no,
five
I
ish.
I that was yeah, it was a long time ago, but that's the last time I actually remember, like, hearing her. But love Lil Kim. She's fucking iconic.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
yeah,
so many ladies in the rap game, originally get their sauce from Lil Kim.
for real.
So, for her to give it back to Janet Jackson, it's like, she's like Janet's kind of godmother to so much in the
You know what that
R
kind
and
of
B, pop, and hip hop worlds. Go on.
you know what that kind of circled into that we forgot that we went the Lucille Bogan stuff.
The
Have
what?
you guys
Oh,
the
oh
late the
yeah, yeah, the Lucille Bogan stuff.
I think that
Yeah,
I don't know if that's how you say her name, but Lucille Bogan, she's like from like the 1930s, and she was just like raunchy music, like, and people like didn't really know about this, or I hadn't heard it referenced to until the past few years. And you look her up, and she's a nasty girl.
like Janet. Do you think I'm a nasty
Yeah,
girl?
she's a nasty boy. Wait, that's Janet
Rest in
Jackson.
peace to
No,
my
is that
uncle Jesus Garber. He's in that music video because he worked
the?
really closely with Janet.
I love that.
I don't,
So yeah, also then news kind of rolls into hip hop history every week. So May 23rd is the anniversary of Eminem releasing the Marshall Mathers LP, which is like I don't did you grow up? Did you listen to Eminem growing up?
of course, yeah, of course. I
Okay,
think
like
I always did, but I think the first CD I owned from him was Curtain Call. The greatest hits.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had my dad bought me the Marshall Mathers LP, and I listened to that shit all the time. And he got me like the edited version. And it had like a track in it that's the kids say no to drugs. They did that
Mm.
one instead of Kim. Anyways, that was a huge album for me. So that was the
Yeah.
year 2000.
I mean, I love when hip hop's a competitive sport, and when he
What's
had
up,
that song,
Jabo?
Hey Jabo, when he had that song Marshall Mathers, that he was dissing Insane Clown Posse on, and
Hmm.
dissing Vanilla Ice, I was like, oh yeah, this was fire. I just love how he was singing on that one.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really follow him after I think maybe it was Encore. And then I was like, he's got really gimmicky and just weird.
Yeah, was Encore the one with cleaning out my closet on it?
No, that was wait, Curtain Call? The red one. Curtain
Yeah,
Call.
Curtain Call was the blue and green one where it was just like
Okay,
his
so I
feet.
got him back. I got him
Yeah,
backwards. Anyway,
Curtain
um,
Call had Shake That on it. But yeah.
okay,
But
I
no,
thought
shout
that
out to
was
the Marshall
Encore.
Mathers LP. Yeah, was that the? then damn, and then look at these kids, no research or don't know. Was that the one with real Slim Shady on it? Was that the one
Oh.
with My Name Is?
That was the Slim Shady LP.
Oh, Pest the Hey, shout out to Pest the Menace.
What's up, Pest? Eminem show. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yes, and then there were a lot of birthdays this week in hip hop history. First, we have Miss Lauryn Hill, and her birthday is May 26, 1975. Love Lauryn Hill. The Score is probably my all-time favorite album.
Right.
I have owned that album probably 10 times throughout my life. Um,
X
it's
Factor is one of my favorite songs, as well as Sweetest Thing.
yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything that she's done that I've not loved. So loved,
Amazing.
loved. And then we have, I found an interesting kind of combination of birthdays here that were all on May 27th. We have Lisa Left Eye Lopez, rest in peace. She was born in 1971. Andre 3000 and Jadakiss were both born on May 27th, 1975. So
Wow, I didn't know
there's
they share a birthday and a birth date, a
yeah,
birthday and a date of
same.
birth. You know?
Yeah, I would be curious to like look
Yeah.
at their birth charts or something pretty interesting stuff.
I just
Oh
want to
yeah,
hear
and
them on a
then
song together.
yeah, that would be really. I really wish that Andre 3000 would make music again.
Yeah, he's one of the most successful artists who's never dropped a solo album.
I well, okay, but like, do we count Speaker Box of Love Below as a solo project on each of them that they released together?
No, because
You
it's a
don't?
double album.
They totally felt
Yeah,
different though. Listen, I consumed that album for fucking years, years.
it's a great album. It's a great piece of hip
Uh,
hop history.
yeah. Oh my god, the Love Below. It's hard because like I when I was younger, the Love Below was my favorite, and then as I kind of got older, I liked Speaker Box better. But they're both so good, so different.
You're right.
Anyways,
I mean, I
I
don't
gotta.
believe they're meant to be compared.
True, true, true. They're both very just good together and standalone though.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
also,
Looney's I Got Five on It came out on May 23rd, 1995. And that right there is one of my all time favorite rap songs. You know, I got hip to that shit in like ninth grade. I don't know how. It was always kind of like one of those ones that would be like kind of in rotation on the radio stations, but you would never really notice it. And then I don't know where I just started singing along to it one day at school. I was like, what does that mean? I got five on it. And then I'm like, oh, five on a sack.
yeah, yeah, I listen to the
I didn't
radio a
start
lot.
smoking weed like that till college, so I wouldn't really like know.
You didn't?
No, I mean, I tried it once, like, out of a water bottle summer before 11th grade, wasn't really feeling it, but, yeah, college, and then I didn't really start then once you, like I didn't really, like, learn to roll up until I was, like, 24, so that was a whole game changer too.
Jabo Music said
Yeah,
that he would like to come on a show sometime. My friend Palm
for
here,
sure.
he does really wonderful things with small music artists, and he really
We'll talk,
likes.
man, DM me on IG.
Yeah. So anyway, um, our music this week. Shall we get into it?
Yes, let's get into it. So Summer Walker just dropped that Soft Life EP. Love, 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 love this project. She's
So
got
good.
J. Cole and Childish Gambino on there. To me, there's just so much soul in this. You know, she's really singing to a black experience, honestly, all throughout. And you know, Summer Walker. I listened to her last album, and I believe I reviewed it, but I've never really took a deep dive into her discography. But now I feel like it's worth it because like on the song that she's doing that spoken word, it's like she just opens up in a whole new way. She's like, yeah, I know I look ratchet, I know I have face tats, but like these are the things that like I really deal with, and the way she opens up is so beautiful. She has a really pretty singing voice, and just like the way she documents her relationships in this music is very unique to only her. So yeah, This is kind of like I enjoyed her last album, but this is what kind of like I kind of consider myself a Summer Walker fan after this.
Yeah, I was really glad that you introduced me to this album. I was impressed immediately as soon as I pressed play. Um, I started with the Two Summer from Cole that she did with J. Cole. Man,
Right.
J. Cole is so dope. Like I have always really liked J. Cole.
And I
But
especially like him on features.
yeah, and I was looking at the comments on the YouTube, and somebody was saying that they had noticed he had been like in a lot of features lately. So hopefully we'll see a resurgence. Um, and I really liked like the beautiful arrangement of it. It had like that like 90s R&B, like kind of almost like Tony Braxton-ish kind of feel like at the beginning of that, and then just J. Cole's flow was beautiful.
You're right.
Um,
And I love that on the song with Childish Gambino, I love how he comes in with a deep voice and he's kinda like
yeah, just
the ain't
talking.
shit dude
Yeah.
she's talking about, but yeah, they both play those roles so well.
Yeah, it was very theatrical from
Yeah.
the parts of the album that I just got to take in. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I've listened to about 5 songs. So it was
J-Bo, I have not heard your music, man. You need to DM me on Instagram. That's underscore PA.LM. Let me comment it on Instagram. I know you're watching on YouTube, buddy, but let me just comment it on Instagram just for you guys. DM your music to Palm. Make sure you are following your music reviewed. I got you. Those services are available to you. Great rates. All right. What were we saying? Summer Walker EP we loved. Now, Foxy, you also wanted to talk about Lana Del Rey's new song this week.
yeah, so we got a new release from Lana Del Rey this week. I got all I had so much wrote still about summer, but we can come back to it later or something. Uh so Lana Del Rey Say Yes to Heaven, she finally released it after years of it like being leaked. I'm a big time Lana Del Rey fan.
As am I.
She's got just like, she's just so relatable for me, and I think it's because we're around the same age. So I always thought that she was younger though, and I was like really surprised to find that she had grown up, at the same time that I had. And so I've just always felt really strongly for her lyricism. She's just so deep.
I
So it
love
was
that her music just transports you into this world where she just really sounds like a movie character almost, and it's
right,
like every album is like another film.
right,
So she's just singing from this like old Hollywood celebrities perspective, but it's like also kind of like encapsulated in now, like
right.
whatever is current. I mean, I love Del Rey's music, and she just dropped this album this year called Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. I hope I said that right. Oh, your dog's so cute. Um,
She's being
but
such
yeah,
an attention whore.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
so I really love Say Yes to Heaven. It's been leaked, like I said, for years, but officially released. And she's just the queen of fan service. She just takes care of her fans so much. And she knows what we want and she listens and she's just so real. She's so real. Um, so yes, and then
yeah.
yours. So that's my song of the week. And your song of the week this week was Killer Mike
Killer Mike,
Motherless.
Motherless. Yeah. Opens up, has a lot of emotion on there, and there's still the song is still hard, So it makes me look forward to this upcoming album he's got called Michael. LP's on there, Young Thug's on there, a couple other people are on there, but yeah, Motherless is like he's been building good towards this album. So I think Killer Mike, is one of those rappers who like solo wise, him coming out of Dungeon Family, and then linking with LP many years later to do Run the Jewels,
Hmm.
and him as a political activist is, I think what some people may know him more for, but the dude can rap his ass off, and I'm so I don't even know the fucking word, but I just like to see Killer Mike doing stuff and putting out new music. And I'm
Right.
always
And
kind of like intrigued at like who's he gonna get on a song with next because he could rap good with like Pusha T, Freddie Gibbs, Black Thought,
yeah,
uh,
he's so diverse.
Ti. Yeah, he's very diverse.
And also for him to put out such like a deep real song the way that he just, he bared his soul with Motherless. He, it's basically just like a love song to his mother, but in his grandmother also, and talking about what he had gone through as a child and being raised was by his grandmother. I think was his mom passed away. I think is what he was saying. I only listened to it once. I don't know his story, but I loved how he meshed his lyricism with that gospel music sound. And it made me really miss the early 2000s and 2010s like sound of music back then, where it would really be intermingled with that gospel kind of sound.
You're
It's
right.
really
The
really
old school
unique.
samples, yeah.
Yeah.
Like him being from Atlanta, it was just that true Southern soul kind of came out.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's I
definitely.
felt very, and I don't wanna sound cliche because we had already been talking about Outkast, but it really was giving a lot like Big Boy almost,
Yeah.
I can see a lot of
Well, they're all
comparison.
out of the same scene. They're all
Mhm.
dungeon families, so they're all kind of all originally stemmed from the same clique of people.
Right.
Dope.
S
Okay.
so we're
Artist
gonna
spotlight this week.
Yeah, so
Your hometown.
we're starting a monthly thing. We had kind of discussed it last week, where we're going to talk about a smaller artist that we're familiar with, people that, or people that you guys could put us on to that we could become more familiar with. And so today I wanted to talk about Pest the Menace. I've been following Pest and his music since I was a teenager. He's been consistent and he's fucking good at what he does. And all the time I'm just always shocked to see that he hasn't gotten quite the recognition on a bigger scale than locally here, and in the Pacific Northwest and Eastern Washington, as he has, because he's got like so much true diversity in his catalog. He's currently working on This Is My EP Part 3. He has Part 1 and 2. They're on his YouTube, so you guys check them out. Also, I've put a couple of his songs into the Beat Baux playlist. But he's got, he doesn't pigeonhole himself to like he has his consistency, which is like that boom bap kind of old school style, but he has so much soul in his music. He talks about what he's gone through. And it's refreshing to hear that he's stayed consistent yet diverse with what he's done. He produces a lot of his own stuff. He has opened up locally because we get a lot of really great shows over here, and so he's open for Brother Lynch, Obi Trice, Mob Deep, Stilo, Mad Child, Afro Man.
Nice. I just saw
Ugh.
Afro Man in January or February.
I've never seen Afro Man, which is so weird because he comes around like where I live so often, and he's getting old. I gotta see him.
Yeah, Afro Man totally revitalized his career this year in light of his house getting raided. But just to talk about Pest, yeah, the videos I saw were dope. He definitely has bars. I like how he has that 90s VHS aesthetic. There's definitely some guys, if I were to get Pest in a cipher with, that come to mind. Like, I would love to see him rap alongside my boy Cold Blooded, who is out of LA, but now based in Vegas. Um, there's a lot of people I want to learn more about Pest the Menace and who his influences are. So there's definitely a plan that Foxy and I have to sit down with him and talk to him soon. So shout out to you, Pest, if you're still watching.
Yeah, definitely. I've always followed his music. I'm a fan of him as a human. He's an awesome person. Good, just good story of pulling your fucking ass up and out of the struggle and making it. So I'm really proud for him. So his newest single is called Mental Wreck. It's got some very intelligent wordplay. It was unique hearing this in comparison to the things that you hear released more. It's just kind of just that root, and he's stayed consistent, and I love that. So check out Mental Wreck. Check out Pest the Menace. He's got quite a few things on YouTube, so good place to start. And follow him on Insta, guys.
Yay, yay. Shout out Pest the Menace.
So this week
Uh,
was kind of a shorter week, which works for me because fuck, like I am so exhausted. You guys are probably gonna go to bed.
Grandma Foxy.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm ready for it. So it
Well,
was very fun.
last but not least, did you want to touch on the boundaries?
Oh my god, how could I forget about the most my sex work tips, you guys? What the hell is wrong with me? See, you know that I'm tired. So I wanted to talk about boundaries this week. I think that it is something that you have to find this nuance being in the adult industry, dealing with people online. You have to know when to say no, when to say stop, and when to fucking block. Because,
Yeah,
there are always these situations that you fall in with time wasting. It's come up so much lately, and it's going to come up more and more as we fall further into this recession. People, it's hard, you guys. It's hard for everybody. We understand everybody's struggling in all aspects. So, but you got to be respectful of the people that, you talk to in any situation. So having boundaries with people is extremely important. People will push you and push you and push
yeah,
you, and
exactly.
you deal with a lot of energy vampires doing what we do. And I'd say, it's just be good to yourself, because you can see these interactions and you can gaslight yourself and you'll be like, oh, this is going to make me money. Like, he's going to buy a custom from me. This guy, he's gonna, and he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm coming for you,"
Yeah,
but that pay it never comes. And usually, if somebody's going to be a solid, client for you, you're gonna know right out the gate, because that person is gonna know better than to approach you and waste your time. So, fellas that are watching, and you love your sex work crowd, you love us. You guys give us likes and all sorts of stuff, but you got to be respectful of, like, this is real. We're not, we're real humans, and we're giving you an experience, but we can't pour from an empty cup. So, and for the ladies and theys, thems, hims, any sex worker that exists, you gotta,
thank
hold
you.
still with your boundaries.
Well said, well spoken. I'm trying to think if any of my boundaries get pushed, and what are my boundaries? Are we talking about in a personal sense, or are we talking about in a content sense?
Well, I'm talking about it in the sex work kind of context, but it goes for anything. It's good to have boundaries.
Right, right. And I may not be able to, verbally identify what are my boundaries as far as what I do, but yeah, it's just a matter of standing up for yourself. For me, it's just like, I want people who are going to bring value to my platform and do recognize me as a creator and not just somebody who's there to cheerlead. I understand that, everybody wants their music heard, but also understand that when you are sending it to me, there are steps that you need to take if you want me on your side. And the palm tree can attest to this, is that, like, when I am on your side, that is, a continued support, and I don't always receive that back. And we talked about earlier today, it's like these things need to be done in the spirit of helping people. And sometimes with what I do with Palm, I'm going to be taking a silent credit, and I'm okay with that, that silent credit. So, not getting the recognition for helping somebody, and that's perfectly fine. It's just like, I when somebody I have a video dropping soon, because somebody I know was like, "Hey, uh, well, you still didn't do you still review albums?" I'm like, "Of course I do." And then, "Well, you still haven't reviewed my music." I'm like, "You never even sent it." "Oh, you're just supposed to know." And I'm like, "So I'm automatically just supposed to be on your dick just because you were you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So that's one of the things that I deal with, is the rapper ego, and it's just, yeah, Kitty wants more count. Shout out to Kitty. But yeah, the rapper ego is something that I, will continuously deal with, because that rapper to blogger, and it's not just rappers, it's, it's artist to blogger relationship is just so, like, you is I'm the uplifter, they are the uplifted.
Right.
And it it kind of, when I step out and I want to dabble in the A&R, I come from comedy, and now I'm in podcasting. It's like I dominate so many, not dominate, excuse me, I'm in so many other lanes that it's like, also I want people to, I want my credit too. I want my ego stroked as well. and now it's like I'm trying to get artists, to speak in a vernacular, so they're buttering me up and helping, coming with value to my platform as well.
Right. You gotta come
Yeah.
with substance. We match energy.
Exactly. Just and somebody said you ain't even got to review it. Just listen to it. No, that benefits you. That doesn't benefit me. Now, here in the
Give
same
me a
thing, it's like
reason. Give me a reason.
it can't always just benefit. It can't always be like, well, what's in it for me? If your mentality going to anything is, well, what's in it for me? That's the wrong reason.
Mhm. For real. And boundaries, having them in every
Boundaries.
aspect of life. And you know what? Those of you that are in the fucking corporate hustle, you have those boundaries up too, because you know what? They will run you dry and they will replace you the day that you drop over. Don't do it. And at this point, with the way that our economy is, you might as well chase your dreams because you're going to be broke either way. That's what I'm doing.
That's what.
So,
Oh, me and my dad literally had a conversation about that because he's like, "Well, why don't you try to find another job instead of?" Which I am starting to. Like, why can't you find? Why don't you find another job instead of being so content driven? I say, hey, these jobs are gonna fucking lay me off eventually, no matter what. These are all gonna be these temporary projects, no matter what. I might as well do what is permanent for me because, like, yeah, no matter how much they want to pay you, that shit still ain't gonna last.
mhm.
You know?
Fuck that. I don't think that they could offer me, the last wage that I was making managing property, I was making fucking $30 an hour. Not enough money, never going back. Nope. They'd have to offer me like something that they couldn't do.
Yeah. I mean, as a content creator, once you see like what it's like to do really, really well, it's like kind of hard to go back to an hourly wage. And it's like
Yeah.
I have never seen what it's like to be doing quote really, really well as a content creator, but that is my goal.
I was doing slightly better in property management. I'm not going to fluff my story. I'm all about being 100%.
Yeah,
Um, but I also, had to professionally fucking screw people over.
yeah,
Like I don't want to put people and sell them a dream that doesn't exist. Like yuck. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. And
and also having creative freedom is like it's up there next to breathing.
exactly. Yep. And for me, I love to do content creation. It's always been something I love. And I love being the subject of it. I think I'm fucking awesome. So, and I know me
Oh,
best.
yep,
So,
you are awesome. All right. Well, everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Beat Baux. Foxy, is there anything else you wanted to touch on, cover for this one?
drink water, guys. It's getting hot.
Drink
But
water.
it's like it's creeping in, so it's gonna slap us in this area on the West Coast. We're gonna be a
Yeah.
hot, hot
It's been
summer.
it's been overcast all day and all yesterday. It's like you call this late May? Like what?
Oh, it's gonna come in. Just you wait.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it'll get there.
you're
All right,
welcome, Jeremy
everybody.
Dolce.
Shout out to
It's
Jeremy,
Jeremy
busy as
Dolce.
Jeremy Dulce. All right, everybody in the live, we appreciate y'all. Peace, love, palm. We want thickness. See you guys next Monday on Beatbox.
Good night.
All right.
How do I get out of this thing?
Let me out of here.
Get out!